Hey, welcome to my channel, Jim Reads Too Slow. I'm Jim. And as I record this video, November is the day after tomorrow. And you know what that means? That's right. New World's November is about to get underway. New World's November, of course, is an event created by Scott and Becky over at the Bookish Bryants. And it is a month of reading short science fiction, from short stories all the way up to short novels, 250 pages or less. Excuse me. Now, I have the barest outline of a TBR for this event for week one, which is dedicated to reading science fiction that takes place on the planet Earth, terrestrial science fiction. I intend on reading Impediment, which is a story by Hal Clement, which, as I understand it, Scott Bryant also said he is also going to be reading this week. It's from his book, The Best of Hal Clement. I have an electronic copy on my iPad, although a paper and ink copy is in the mail, making its way towards me. So I'll be able to read the rest of the stories that I read out of this volume in hard copy. This also will fulfill one of the requirements of Hal for the Holidays, which is an event that was created by Brandy over at the Bookclectic, who also is a New World's November host. And this is reading two works by classic science fiction author Hal Clement each month, November, December, and January. So 6 altogether. Okay, so next I intend to read The 9 Billion Names of God by Arthur C. Clarke. That one is from an ebook of Clarke's collected short stories, courtesy of my local public library, which I also have on my iPad. Next, I intend to read The Veldt by Ray Bradbury, a story that I read in, it has been junior high or high school, which is so long ago that I think this would qualify as a fresh read. And I'm reading it out of this book, the Norton Anthology of Short Fiction, 7th edition. There are a lot of great stories in here, and I was pleased to find some Ray Bradbury. Last but not least, if I read one story during the first week of November, it will be At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. I'll read it from this volume, this wonderful Barnes & Noble edition, complete with the stickers that I know and love from all of their collections. This was the first story I thought of when I thought of what I might read for week one, and try as I might, I could not talk myself out of reading it. Now, if I get those finished, no guarantee that I will, but if I do, I want to move on to this guy here, book that I have been looking for literally for years. The original brand new edition of this book, World Out of Time by Larry Niven, just disintegrated over the years. And I've been looking for it and finally found it this past Friday at my local bookstore. And now this is a story about a guy who leaves the Earth in a ram ship, kind of escapes and goes on a tour of the center of the galaxy, returns back to Earth millions of years later to find the planet orbiting Jupiter, and it's full of all of these weird creatures, flora and fauna, like this cat snake that we see on the cover here. So how did all this stuff happen? What's going on? I love that book. I remember loving it, and I want to read it again. If not during New Worlds November, then really soon. So what sub themes boxes these stories are going to also tick off? The first week is terrestrial science fiction. The second week is extraterrestrial. And then there's a third and a fourth week. And then below that, there are like sub themes, quite a list of sub themes that we're to look for in our science fiction stories. I'll let you know. I'm thinking the Mountains of Madness might surprise me with the number that I can tick off on that. But like I say, I'll let you know. We'll see. So that's it. That's my plans for week 1 of New Worlds November. But that's not all. Like I said, we're in the last few hours of October, and with the end of October comes the end of another really sucky reading month for me. So I'm going to do a quick October wrap up. Like I said, I didn't have the greatest month reading wise. I finished only one book, although I did do a lot of other reading. The book I finished is The Beginning Place by Ursula K. Le Guin, the late great Ursula K. Le Guin, one of my favorite authors. I like this book a lot overall, although it is a portal fantasy, and generally I don't like portal fantasies. In my opinion, they tend to waste too much of my reading experience with the main character coming to grips with the fact that he's in this alternate reality, trying to figure out how he got there, how to get back at all costs, almost sometimes, trying to convince everyone that he meets that he's not who they believe he is. It just really gets tedious. So, but I think Le Guin does it right with this book. Although more than enough of it is taken up with the main character figuring out that the place that he has come to love and need in his life actually is a gateway to an alternate reality. About half of the book is taken up by that. But then he meets a girl who's been going there to this beginning place and then on to the next reality, for years. And she sees him there and resents him immediately. This is her place, her escape. He's a trespasser, and that aspect of the story could have gone a whole different direction. But Le Guin kept it under control, and for that, I really appreciate this story. And then the story happens and the book's over. The part with the actually where there's a tale being told, it seems really brief and abrupt to me. The book reads like maybe it could have been the first in a series, which I really hope that was the intention. That would have been great. Would have really been good. And I would like to hear from anyone else who has read The Beginning Place. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Let me know your thoughts. I'm really interested in finding out. I haven't heard a whole lot about this book. Maybe I just haven't been looking in the right places. So what'd you think of it? So that's what I finished. And then what I'm still working on includes Middlemarch. That's right. My March of the Mammoths selection. It's November. I'm still reading it. I picked it up again. I let it slide for a while. Dorothea, just in the early chapters, I just could not. I couldn't handle Dorothea. But I picked it up again. It started picking up for me. I'm really enjoying it. I'm on chapter 56 of this 838 page edition. So I'm sure I'm going to finish it here in the coming month. And I am still reading America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots, a Diagnostic by Philip Friedenberg, illustrated by Jeff Walton. I freely admit to having a really hard time getting through this book, but I am not going to let it defeat me. I am making progress. I'm over halfway done, maybe 3/4 of the way through. Funny story about this book. Shortly after I got it and started reading it, I got home from work one early evening, realized I had to go to the store to pick up some things for supper, and things for my wife. And so I was in the middle of getting everything out of my car, left this on the roof of my car, and went back to the store. On my way back home, I see it there in the gutter, just laying there. Luckily, it was a bone dry day. There are a few scuffs on it. Otherwise, it is unharmed. I have to hand it to Rick Harsh, the publisher, the people he has actually printing this book. They're doing a great job, Rick. Take it from me. So that left me with the feeling that I am intended to read this book. So I'm not going to put it down until it's done. So America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots, a Diagnostic. Still going strong on that one. And I also will be starting a reread shortly here of Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey for November, which it's a really easy read. It shouldn't take any time at all for me to get through. So that's what I've been up to in October. November holds a much more promising timeline for me reading wise. I hope it turns out that way. We'll see. I'll wrap up week 1 of New Worlds November next week with a video, and then try to have a TBR for week 2. Although I pretty much have a handle on what I'm primarily going to be spending my time with on week 2. So, but we'll see. Until then, keep reading. Wish everybody a good reading week, and have a good one.